Welcome to Yatai Spot. Former President Donald Trump has reignited global economic fears with a bold new threat to impose tariffs on the European Union. In this video, we break down the potential impact of this move, reactions from global markets, and what it could mean for the future of U.S. EU relations and the global economy. Is a new trade war on the horizon? Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's listen further for more details.
Saying he wants a straight 50% tariff on the EU beginning June 1st.
It'll light a fire under the EU because, Bill, I've said before, EU has a collective action problem here. It's 27 countries, but they're being represented by this one group in Brussels.
It started with a sentence, not a press conference, not a speech, not even a whisper to the media. It came through a post, typed into a glowing smartphone, likely sometime before sunrise, and launched into the world like a missile. The European Union has been very difficult to deal with. Trade talks are going nowhere. I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on all EU goods starting June 1st. Those words detonated across the global economy. By breakfast, Wall Street was shaking. By noon, the European stock markets were spiraling. By sunset, silence had gripped world capitals because no one knew if this was another bluff or the beginning of something irreversible. Today, May the 23rd of the year 2025, President Donald Trump has reignited one of the most explosive fault lines in global trade. This time, the target is not China, not Mexico, not a multinational company. This time it is the European Union, the largest trading bloc on Earth. And the threat? A 50% tariff on every single product shipped into the United States from Europe. Let us be clear, this is not a tax on foreign governments. This is not a targeted strike on one sector. This is a blanket economic weapon, a 50% increase on everything from German automobiles to French wines, Italian pharmaceuticals to Irish dairy. It is a threat that, if realized, would shatter nearly half a century of transatlantic trade stability. And it was made in under 280 characters. The president's statement, posted to his personal Truth Social account early this morning, stunned even members of his own cabinet. Sources close to the administration say that there was no formal review, no economic impact forecast, no pre-briefing for the office of the U.S. Trade Representative. The post appeared. And then the scramble began. Within minutes, emergency calls lit up in Brussels. The European Commission declined public comment, but confirmed that a private call was scheduled between EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič and US Trade Representative Jameson Greer. That call, according to sources, was supposed to focus on tariff reductions. Instead, it became an emergency damage control session. The European Union had not yet issued a public response as of this evening, but officials inside the bloc, speaking anonymously, said the mood was dark. "We are not sure if he will actually do it," said one trade diplomat. "But if he does, there will be a response. A significant one." Meanwhile, the world watched the fallout unfold in real time. The S&P 500 plunged more than 1.2% within hours. The Nasdaq dropped 1.5%. European indexes, including Germany's DAX and France's CAC 40, fell by nearly 2 full points. Billions in market capitalization were wiped out before lunch. Investors fled to safety. Gold prices surged more than 2%. The dollar softened against the euro, and analysts began pulling out the same playbooks they used during the US-China trade war 4 years ago. One economist on Bloomberg said bluntly, "If this goes through, we are looking at a full-scale trade war with Europe. That is not hyperbole. That is just math." What triggered such a dramatic move? Frustration. Sources inside the White House suggest that President Trump has been increasingly irritated by what he sees as European stonewalling in trade talks. Negotiations have stalled for weeks over one issue: tariffs. The EU has pushed for zero tariffs on goods. Trump has insisted on preserving what he calls a baseline tariff of 10%, claiming it ensures fairness and protects American jobs. Neither side has budged, and this morning, the standoff became an ultimatum. But why 50%? That is a number economists say is nearly unprecedented for a developed partner. Even during the worst moments of the US-China conflict, tariff levels rarely exceeded 35%. A 50% tariff would effectively price out most European goods from the US market. And the industries affected, virtually all of them, automobiles, wine, cheese, chocolate, pharmaceuticals, clothing, consumer electronics, aircraft components, even luxury items like perfume and high fashion. Every product entering the United States from an EU member state would be subject to this economic wall. One German automaker issued a terse statement. "We hope the situation is resolved quickly. The US market remains important, but we must protect our investments." Translation: they are scared, and they are preparing for the worst. Behind closed doors, industry groups are panicking. In Washington, the National Foreign Trade Council called the threat reckless, warning it would inflame allies and hurt American consumers. Retail groups echoed the alarm, saying prices would spike immediately if tariffs are enacted. "This is a hidden tax on American families," one spokesperson said. "Make no mistake." Even tech firms felt the tremor. While not directly tied to European imports, today's tariff threat came bundled with a second post, one aimed at Apple. Trump warned that iPhones not made in the US could soon face a 25% tariff of their own. That warning sent Apple's stock tumbling nearly 4% by market close. Shareholders were blindsided. The political world is equally stunned. In Congress, Democrats called the tariff threat a dangerous overreach. Republicans offered muted responses, wary of criticizing Trump, but clearly caught off guard. One GOP senator, speaking in background, called the movie political dynamite and warned it could explode in our faces come November. But if President Trump is worried, he is not showing it. In a follow-up post, he doubled down. "Europe has taken advantage of us for decades. They export to us freely. We pay the price. That is over. Fair trade or no trade." And so, the countdown begins. If no deal is reached, June the 1st becomes a flashpoint, the date Trump named as the start of this new tariff regime. And if he follows through, it could fracture one of the most economically significant alliances on Earth. The United States and the European Union together account for over 30% of global trade. They are each other's largest sources of foreign investment. Their companies are intertwined. Their banks are linked. Their industries rely on each other. A rupture between them would not be contained to one region. It would ripple across the globe. Already, countries like Canada, Japan, and Australia are watching with unease. Many had hoped the US and Europe could set a model for post-pandemic trade cooperation. That hope now hangs in the balance. So what happens next? That depends on whether today's threat is real policy or political theater. Some believe Trump is bluffing, that the post was meant to force a breakthrough at the negotiating table, that he will walk it back if the EU concedes even partially. Others are not so sure. One former trade advisor warned, "When Trump says it, he means it, especially on tariffs, especially this close to an election." And that raises a deeper question. Are tariffs still a tool of leverage, or have they become a litmus test for loyalty, a way to reward or punish based on political alignment rather than economic logic? No one knows. And that is what makes this moment so dangerous. Because if the 50% tariffs go into effect, Europe will respond. Officials have already floated retaliation, targeting US goods with mirror tariffs. That means American exports like Boeing jets, Harley-Davidson motorcycles, Levi jeans, bourbon, beef, and digital services could face brutal new taxes entering Europe. The EU could also file an emergency complaint at the World Trade Organization. Though enforcement would take months, the symbolic fracture would be immediate. Decades of trade cooperation could be reversed in days. And all of it hinges on a single clock, June the 1st. 8 days from now, the world may wake up to a new trade order, or another round of negotiations, or a temporary truce, or chaos. But whatever happens, one thing is clear. The era of quiet diplomacy is over. We are living in a world where a tariff war can begin with a single sentence, where centuries of alliance can be tested in a tweet, where markets crash not on data, but on drama. And in this world, clarity is rare. Today, the signal was sent. Now the world waits to see if it becomes reality.
The best way to support this channel is to watch the videos to the end. Please drop a comment for more reactions and reviews. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.